the chapter matter, its nature and behavior. Chapter 2 we are starting, and in this session we will be more emphasizing on elements and compounds. Here comes the contents. In the contents you can see that there are pure substances we are talking about in this, and under the heading pure substances we will be taking metals, non-metals, metalloids. Then comes the compounds, and then a very brief account of the mixtures, right? So let's start. Physical state of matter you have already studied, the classification solid, liquid and gas, and on the basis of chemical composition the matter is classified into pure substances and mixtures, right? Now these pure substances, they can again be classified into elements and compounds, while mixtures are classified into homogeneous and heterogeneous. Mixture we will be talking about it in the next session. So here comes the flow chart where you can see that the matter, it is divided into pure substances and mixtures. This is element and these are compounds. Mixtures into homogeneous and heterogeneous mixtures. Now let's see these pure substances. What substances will be known as pure substances? The question arises, and the pure substances will be those which have got only one kind of particles. For example, you can see elements are given over here: hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, sulfur, iron and copper. All of these are the elements. When we are talking about compounds, water, carbon dioxide, hydrochloric acid and nitric acid also. These are the examples of the compounds. Now, if you see the difference between these two, you will find that in this, there are only one type of atoms, H, O. Now, if you write H2, or if you write O2, then also it will be considered as element because the atoms are of same type. But if you see compound, then in case of compound, there are two elements by which it is made. Water if you consider, then if you consider nitric acid, then there are three elements by which nitric acid is made up of, that is hydrogen, nitrogen and oxygen. So this is the difference between elements and compounds, that elements are composed of same kind of atoms, but compounds have got different kinds of atoms combined chemically. It may be two or more than two, right? So let's see the pure substances. As we have already talked about elements and compounds, here we are taking elements first. What are elements? The basic form of matter which cannot be broken into two or more simpler substances, right? Next, let's see these elements. They are divided into metals, non-metals and metalloids. So the properties of metals. Here we are mainly talking about the physical properties of metals. So metals are lustrous, metals are malleable. Malleable means they can be beaten into sheets. Ductile, they can be drawn into wires. They are good conductors of electricity and heat. Electricity and heat can pass through it. Sonorous, they produce sound. They are hard solids. Everybody knows metals are hard solids like iron, copper, all these are hard. They have high tensile strength. Their tensile strength is high. They have high density. Then what are the examples of metals? You all know sodium is one of the example of metals. Iron is an example of metal. Copper is an example of metal. Gold is an example of metal. And you know many more. Silver is an example of metal. So all of these are examples of metals. Now comes the properties of non-metals. Non-metals, you find that they are just opposite to metals. like they are not lustrous, they are not ductile, they are not malleable, they are bad conductors of heat and electricity, they are not sonorous, they don't produce sound when you strike them. They are generally soft, they have low tensile strength, they have low density. The examples are carbon, sulfur, hydrogen, oxygen, and many, many more. Chlorine is also one of the example. Fluorine is an example. Nitrogen is one of the examples of non-metals. Now comes metalloids. Metalloids are those which have some properties of metals and some other properties of non-metals. That is why they are called metalloids. They are sometimes called semi-metals also. Okay, they can be known as semi-metals also. And the examples are boron, silicon, and germanium. Compound is a substance which is made up of two or more elements, as we have discussed earlier also. That, but one thing which you have to keep in mind is that they are chemically combined with one another in a fixed proportion by mass. For example, if you consider water, then in case of water, you know that it is composed of two elements, hydrogen and oxygen. Now, hydrogen and oxygen, they are present in water in a definite proportion by mass. That is 1:8. Right? So, this is the speciality of compounds, that in this two or more elements are combined chemically and they are in a fixed proportion by mass. Here are few examples also: sodium chloride, copper sulfate, sodium hydrogen carbonate, iron sulfide. We are going to study about the properties of a compound which is made up of iron and sulfur, that is iron sulfide. Now for that, what we have to do, we have to take iron and we have to take sulfur and take it in a china dish and heat it. When you heat it, you will find that a black colored compound is formed, that is iron sulfide. So iron sulfide is a black colored compound, but iron is gray colored, sulfur is yellow colored. When you see iron sulfide, then it has got a black color, totally different from its constituents. Now we are going to see what about its properties. The properties of its constituents are lost, because if you bring a magnet near iron sulfide, you will find that this magnet will not attract iron from iron sulfide. Why? Because iron has lost its properties when it has become iron sulfide. Another example of losing properties is carbon disulfide. If you take that and you try to dissolve iron sulfide in it, it will not dissolve sulfur. Why? Because sulfur has lost its property. Actually, beta, sulfur dissolves in carbon disulfide. But when you take iron sulfide, then sulfur does not dissolve in carbon disulfide. It means sulfur has lost its properties. Another aspect is add sulfuric acid to it and you will find that a gas is produced from it with a smell like rotten eggs, and the gas is H2S. So all of this proves that a new compound is formed, a new substance is formed from its constituents. Now these compounds, they are homogeneous also, they have a fixed melting point also. Thus compound has totally different properties from its constituents. Now comes mixtures. Mixtures are made up of two or more pure substances, and the example of mixtures are given over here: seawater, soil, air, sugar solution. Mixtures are of two types, homogeneous and heterogeneous. What constituents are present in seawater? It is water and salt and many other salts also. In air also, there are so many different constituents which are present in air: H2O, oxygen, carbon dioxide. So many pure substances are there present in air. That is why air is known as a mixture. Now let's see the difference between the mixtures and compounds. Mixtures, they show the properties of their constituents. In the mixture, you can see the properties of constituents. For example, if you take iron and sulfur, you will find that iron will show its color and sulfur yellow color is also visible. But if you consider compound, you will not see the properties of constituents. They can be separated by physical methods. The mixtures, you can separate its constituent by physical methods. But if you consider the compound, it cannot be separated by physical methods. You need chemical methods for it. Whenever a mixture is formed, energy is not released or absorbed. Whenever a compound is formed, energy is released or absorbed. You can see that in case of iron sulfide, iron and sulfur are heated. Only then iron sulfide is formed. So there is energy changes in it. Now a mixture has a variable composition. Like if you want to make iron and sulfur mixture, one day you can take 1 gram of iron and 2 gram of sulfur. On the other day, you can take 2 gram of iron and 3 gram of sulfur. But if you think about compound, it has a fixed composition. Like in case of water, you have seen that the composition is 1:8. The amount of hydrogen and oxygen is fixed in a compound. Now, the mixture does not have a fixed melting point or boiling point, but in case of compounds, it has a fixed melting point and boiling point. The next topic that we are going to discuss is pure substances and mixtures. Pure substances consist only one type of particle, while mixture consists of 2 or more substances. Components of pure substances cannot be separated by physical methods, while components of mixture can be separated by physical methods. Now, pure substances has its own properties, but the mixtures show the properties of its constituents.